of Sound Quest Academy, which trains sound healers in helping people to use the power of frequency and sound bathing to reduce stress, heal, and strengthen their immune system. With a background in music, personal development, and shamanic practices, Mike has led thousands of people in sound healing sessions worldwide, blending his expertise in musicianship and spiritual healing. So, welcome aboard, Mike. Really lovely to have you on the Body Charge podcast.
Thanks for having me, Sandy.
My first question for you is, what role did your musicianship have into getting involved with sound healing? How did you move into that space?
Yeah, so the journey began many years ago, and I was a musician first and foremost. That was my, semi-profession. It's something I did for entertainment, right? And I was mainly the drummer in the band, and I play guitar as well, and I can play a bit of piano and those sorts of things. And so I always thought of music as something that's for entertainment purposes only, right? And I went through this period of struggle with my health, and I went through a period of, it was physical health, it was also mental health and emotional health. Everything was kind of in a bit of a spiral all at
They
once.
usually all go together.
Yes. And so I went on this journey of seeking wellness, healing, all kinds of modalities. I was doing a yoga practice, and I was doing breath work, and I was doing float tanks, and
Yeah, with
and-
magnesium.
right, exactly. And then I was doing men's work and counseling, and I even went to like Tony Robbins, and I was just exploring like everything I could get my hands on
Mind
to,
power. Yep.
yeah, to get myself better and back to a place where I was excited about life again. And I just had I wanted a new energy going forward. And through all of that seeking, I discovered sound healing, because there was this sound bath happening at this yoga studio that I was going to regularly. And um, I decided to sign up. I just said, "Oh, that sounds interesting. What is sound healing?" And I went and I lied down. I'll never forget that first experience that I had, where I lied down and the vibrations filled the room, and
What do
it
they
was
do? Where do the vibrations come from? What are they using? Like instruments?
yes. So either the instruments they use in a sound healing session typically can be things like crystal singing bowls,
Oh,
gongs,
yes. Yep.
harmoniums, ocean drums, the flute. There's all kinds of things. Tuning forks can be used. Usually, those are intended for one-on-one sound healing sessions, not for groups. So what I'll explain shortly how it works
Yep.
on the mind and on the body, but I'll just finish my own personal story. So yeah, as the full spectrum of sound and vibration filled the space, I was having this great big nervous system release, and I was seeing all kinds of visions, and having like the deepest state of meditation I've ever experienced in my life.
Wow.
So my mind was blown, because I had no idea that sound and vibration could have that kind of healing effect on one's mind and body, and emotions and everything can be recalibrated through just lying there receiving sound.
But you were a musician, so
Yeah,
you
and there's
weren't used
musical
to this type
elements.
of sound?
Not this type of sound, but there are musical elements to sound healing, right? Like
Mhm.
the crystal singing bowls should be, in a
Tuneful.
tuned in a musical scale, so
Mhm.
um, they sound
Harmonic. You
aesthetic
you need
and harmonic
harmonics.
together.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there are musical elements going on, and so it fascinated me that something musical-ish could um, have this profound
It's not
effect on
like
them.
drums, but then you mentioned ocean drums.
Yeah, yeah. An ocean drum is it's a drum. It's like a double-sided skinned drum, where you basically just tilt it, and there's these wooden or metallic beads inside that this if you tilt it back and forth, you can make it sound like this, how when you're
The
walking on a
ocean.
beach and you hear the waves crashing on the beach.
It's a bit like the seashell you hold up against your ear, right?
Some, yes, along those lines, and it has this really soothing effect, and it's something that is actually a crowd favorite in terms of all the events that I do. There's always someone that comes up to me afterwards and asks me what that sound was that sounded like the ocean, or it sounded like,
Mm.
waves, and yeah, that's a crowd favorite for sure.
So
So I have
relaxing.
this
Hmm.
very relaxing, and it's something I usually start with all my sessions. It's usually one of the first instruments I pick up and play for
Because
people.
people are so immersed in stressful situations daily. It's like a chronic thing in our modern daily lifestyles. We don't even realize that often we're under stress because it becomes like a background thing. Your body kind of adjusts, but it's still churning away in the background. We don't even realize that we're under in a stressful environment. And
Mhm,
when you then move into that sound bathing space, which I guess retunes you, doesn't it? Like it's like a big tuning fork. It
mhm,
brings the harmonics of your own frequency, your biological frequency back into alignment, which makes you feel good, right? That's the when you click back into alignment, that's
mhm,
when you feel your best. Is
mhm.
that a good way to explain it?
Yeah, the way it's that's a great way to explain it, and the way that I usually tell people how to understand what's happening is that I'm using the full spectrum of sound and vibration and frequency. And what this does is it entrains the brain waves. So when we are in our waking consciousness, um, in our task orientated day to day, whether it's driving a car, sending an email, having any kind of interaction, um, you're in what's called the beta brainwave, right?
Yeah.
And what we're doing in a sound healing session is slowing down the brainwaves by entraining the brainwaves with the full spectrum of sound emanating from these instruments. And then that tends to slow down the brainwaves and brings you down to that what's called
Alpha.
theta.
Oh,
Yeah, you can
more.
reach
Yeah.
alpha and theta brainwave, and you can even go down to delta. So theta brainwave,
Wouldn't you be asleep
another
by
way.
then?
Yeah, so people always, there's always someone in the sound bath that falls asleep. So theta is meditation, delta is sleeping,
Mhm.
right? And so people are going kind of in between that
Drifting.
space.
Yeah. I call it the twilight zone.
Yes.
That when you wake
And
up in the morning, you're in that half state, aren't you? Just
yeah,
before you fully wake up. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And that's when your nervous system goes from the sympathetic side of the nervous system to the parasympathetic side of the nervous system. And you go into this non-sleep deep rest where your body returns itself to homeostasis.
Yeah.
And in that altered state, that's where your aperture of consciousness can expand. You can access different parts of your mind,
More
and
creativity,
creativity comes online, and you can see things, aspects of your life from a different perspective, perhaps.
solve problems.
Yeah, yeah. And so it can have all kinds of profound healing effects. The nervous system can reset, the emotional body can recalibrate, and you come out of this experience just feeling restored and rejuvenated, typically. Yeah.
I think some people might be thinking it sounds so easy not to be fighting or pushing something and have such a big healing effect. It's like
Mhm,
almost counterintuitive because we're really not trained or schooled enough to think of being in that relaxed state as something profoundly healing. we feel, I think, from autopilot that we have to keep pushing, 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 stay in that treadmill, get it done, get it done. And this is really detrimental to our health because the body needs those breaks. It needs that relaxation state to relax, recharge, and
Mhm.
recover. You can't build new cells when the adrenaline's pumping and you're in fight or flight, right?
Yeah, it's really important to have some kind of daily routine where you can consciously be in a rest state. We are conditioned by our culture to think we always have to be doing more and getting more. And if we're lying around and, we're conditioned to
You
think
feel
that
guilty.
you feel guilty, like you're not doing enough, you're being lazy or something. But it's actually quite productive to have some sort of meditation uh, habit of some kind in your life, whether it's in the morning or whether it's taking um, a sound healing session, going to a sound healing session on a regular basis,
Yeah.
or some kind of mindfulness technique that like recalibrates your system, because if you're operating from a place of stress and a dysregulated nervous system, then you're going to be in reactivity mode when you're going through your days, right?
Yeah.
And rather
On
than being in a
autopilot.
creative space.
Yeah. So reactivity being your mainly driven by the limbic system, which is the primitive part of the brain. It's reacting without thinking. Is this a good way to behave? Is this really going to fix the problem? That's your reasoning side, which kind of gets pushed into the background when that limbic system is highly stressed, over emotional. That's when you're in the beta phase of the brain, isn't that right? That's with that staccato, really high level of revs,
Mm.
and you can't come down from that space. But it is great to know that this wonderful tool of sound bathing can bring you back down without using too much mind power. It's almost like just surrender to the sound and it will do the work. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, it's a great tool for anyone who has a hard time meditating, just sitting there in lotus position on their own and reaching that kind of flow state. Um, and that equanimity of a proper meditation. It's almost like when you go into a sound bath, you can achieve an involuntary state of meditation that everyone's looking for when they're trying to meditate.
Yeah, it kind of teaches you to let go. And
Hmm.
that's really hard for a lot of people to do, to just let go. and
Hmm.
and they feel like they have to struggle. So getting past that square one, I think, is a big hurdle for many. And then with practice, it will get easier. I have a question about the difference between going to a sound bath with other people in their presence and playing a recording of that sound bath. Is that the same effect or different?
Not quite. I would say when you're live in person with the acoustic instruments, like the gongs, you can really feel it on a different level. Um, you know, just penetrating your cells and your
Yeah.
all the it's like a full body experience
Do,
rather than just an audible experience.
do you think that the group dynamic, because every human being is a collection of frequencies, their own biorhythms. So when we come together as a group, they like intersect like a Venn diagram. And, they've done many studies of people singing together in a choir. And after a number of songs, their heart rhythm, variability, their blood pressure, many bio rhythms align. They you know behave the same way because they're entrained by the sound, but also being together in that group has an extra dynamic to it. We share, in other words, there's more sharing of the frequency or amplification. Could you describe it that way?
Sure, you could describe that way. Oftentimes, I get everyone at the end of one of my events to sit up right at the very end, um, if I'm feeling called to do this, and I'll do a process of getting everyone to chant while I play a harmonium, and everyone starts to um, yeah, everyone starts to harmonize, usually chanting Om several times over, and we're just filling that space with the chanting, and there's this sense of harmony amongst the group that occurs. It's like this
Pretty magical. Yeah, the sound
osmosification that moves through the whole group.
yeah, that has a vibration in the head, right at the top of the head, with the crown chakra is. You can really physically feel it quite strongly after a while. Yeah, your whole
Mhm.
body starts to vibrate, and it's quite amazing. And when you're with other people, I think everything is amplified. It kind of the energy synergizes and just increases and gets more.
Yeah.
However, if you can't get together in a group and you really need a fix, a sound bath fix, go to your recordings, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
You
I mean, you
mentioned,
can definitely put on a pair of headphones,
yep,
lie down. There's many recordings on Spotify. You could go to the SoundQuest YouTube channel. I have many pre-recorded sound baths and things like that on my YouTube channel, and they work great. And there was a time during COVID where I was doing a lot of live streaming sound baths just through Instagram Live on my SoundQuest Instagram, and and people were loving it all over the world. You know,
yeah.
people would tune in and lie down, and I would do it, and people would be like going to bed. I would send people off to sleep with
It's
the sound bath.
comforting. Yeah. I guess, babies come into the world and they've been listening to the mother's heartbeat, and then they need to be very close so they can keep hearing that heartbeat, and it's very soothing and calming for them. I guess we grow into adults and that little inner baby is still in there somewhere. We respond to the same kind of rhythms.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the drumming is something that you can entrain the brainwaves. You know, shamans have been using drums and rattles for thousands of years. They knew this, that rattling or drumming at a certain beats per minute can entrain
Calms the heart too.
brainwaves and start to bring in this altered state of consciousness through the rhythmic beating of the drum. And yeah, the sound, the sense of hearing is one of our first senses that develops as a fetus when we're in the womb.
Yeah.
So,
And it's very much connected with the heart. And we talked a lot about the brain and the brain waves, but it's so intimately entwined with the heart's own brain. We know that there's another brain in the heart muscle, and the rhythm of the heart is very connected, is like intricately connected. It's the core of our being, it's who we are. When we talk about heartfelt communication, that means it's real and it's truthful and it's resonant. So the frequency is entrained in truth. So we feel truth in the heart. We just feel it in the heart, the gut, that central core of our being reverberates. So when you're hearing the sound bath, the first step is to let go, and it helps us to let go. It's that extra little push that we need to just detach, and then things start to happen. The magic starts to happen. So we'll finish up shortly, but I just want to go back to the routine that you mentioned earlier of getting up early in the morning. Because I interviewed someone else before about light and seeing the sunrise, just to the side a little bit. Obviously, you're not going to do anything to hurt your eyes, but to see the sunrise when it's very gentle, that first morning light is also very calming, and it has that frequency, the same frequency. So you could probably listen to your favorite sound bath also first thing in the morning, and don't turn the TV on, right? Because
and no
that's very
screens.
jarring.
Yeah, don't look at your phone. Yeah,
No
just
phone, no
yeah,
electronics, no machines. Just be in the quiet of nature and
yeah.
feel the rhythm of life
Hmm.
from the earth,
Yeah.
from your whole environment.
Yeah, there's all kinds of really cool morning routines that you can get into. One is go, stand directly on the earth, earthing,
The charge. Yep.
grounding.
Yep.
However, I will say I've just discovered the power of a grounding sheet. I don't know if you've ever heard of these, but I've I bought this sheet that plugs into the
I've
grounding
s-
hole in the
I've
outlet.
I've seen
Yeah.
people standing on them, when they're at the computer. If you do a lot of
Yes.
computer work, and they have the raised desk and they stand at the desk and they stand on the grounding sheet.
Mhm.
Because we're surrounded by too much positive charge in an office environment with all the machines and the computers and the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, and it puts our biological rhythms out. We
Mm.
get very stressed that way. The body is like off its
Yes.
center. And
Yeah.
so anything that will help bring us back into alignment is good, right? Mm.
Yeah, yeah. There's that kind of grounding pad, but I'm talking about a sheet for like your bed that you sleep
Oh,
on all
okay.
night.
No,
So
I
you
haven't come
land on this
across that.
grounding sheet, and I've been using it, and it's only been a couple weeks, but I'm dead serious. My sleep has been amazing. Like
So,
I just go into this deep
I
sleep
think I
and have
have
these
heard,
vivid
yes, it's a
dreams.
sheet. It's a sheet with a cord that plugs into the earth part of the PowerPoint, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. Well,
And
that
it
makes a
helps
lot
with
of
other things
sense.
like inflammation and
Mm,
yeah, and I just feel calmer throughout the day being, grounding on my
yeah.
bed for 8 hours in the night. But yeah, then go outside in the morning and look at the sunrise
Mm.
and do some breath work and listen to some sound healing. You're gonna have a good day. That's gonna launch a good day.
Yep. And it's just getting into the right routines, isn't it? And it's just as important as eating the right kind of food, the natural and
Yes.
organic, avoiding the chemicals. It's the whole package that we
Yeah.
need to do. Um, and I mentioned a lot about magnesium because it's very, very, very important for the central nervous system and our whole electrical functioning.
Mhm.
And to be able for people to become more resilient in the face of being immersed in an environment which is discordant, you want to bounce back from that. You want to have good strategies. So at Electromagnesium, which is my business, we developed transdermal magnesium. So you just rub it in. It can be cream or a lotion. We have lots of variety for people to choose from. So it can be a daily body care routine, also really good for your skincare. And it just helps that calming feeling because the magnesium ions help your electrical conductivity. So when you then combine it with other therapies and strategies, such as the sound bathing and the grounding, all of that helps to bring your whole electrical system into alignment. And you can think more clearly, the brain works better, you just feel clear, and all the brain fog goes away.
Mhm. Yeah, that's I love that. So you have these supplements and products that are for
It's
el-
nutrition via skin. Instead of eating it, you rub it in, and the skin is the
okay.
largest organ of the body. So it takes up the nutrients it needs. The body uses it, and no digestion is required because when people are under stress, the digestive system doesn't work very well. So
Hmm.
you're lucky to get even a small portion of oral magnesium supplements actually taken up across the gut wall and into the cells to the interior. And that's
Okay.
why people can be taking tablets and powders and still get cramps and a whole host of other magnesium deficiency symptoms because it's not reaching the cells where it needs to go.
Hmm.
But through the
And
skin, it's different,
most people are low on magnesium
very
in
low. And
day
because
and
you pee it out more under stress. So your body doesn't recycle enough of it when you're stressed and the adrenaline's pumping, you lose a lot more in the urine. And so athletes and people who aren't sick but also push their body hard, people who do shift work, any kind of stress can cause this kind of magnesium loss, which then, if you don't replace it and keep your levels optimal, it can lead to health issues,
Hmm.
physical, mental, all sorts of
Do you
problems.
think people should apply magnesium on their epidermis, on their
Yes,
skin,
yes,
rather than orally ingest it, like going to the supplement store and buying like magnesium capsules.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Uh,
transdermal is far superior. You mentioned before that you did um the bathing in the tanks with
the cold plunges,
the yeah, they
or no,
use
the float tanks.
float
Yeah, yeah.
tanks, they use magnesium sulfate, which is a cheaper form and it's better than nothing. It
Mm,
does the job. However, the sulfate component of Epsom salts can irritate the skin for a lot of people if they have sensitive skin. So, magnesium chloride, which is what we do, doesn't do that. So
mm,
it's very, very skin friendly. And so that's why we developed a range which caters for many skin types because you have to really like what you do every day for it to become a good habit on a daily basis. It has to be
mm.
pleasant, has to smell nice, feel nice, do the job, not
Do you use it
introduce any
as
chemicals.
do you use it as like a moisturizer on your
Yes,
face? Is it,
moisturizer, underarm deodorant, muscle massage. Just
wow,
put it everywhere. And also before you go out in the sun, because when you make vitamin D in your skin using sunlight, you also need magnesium ions and cholesterol. So good fats.
right.
You've got to you baste your skin. You've got to baste like a chicken.
Yeah, how often do you do that? Do you do that every day?
Every day, every day. So it becomes a daily routine. I I love to do it. It makes me feel great. Gives you a good
Mm,
start to the day. Before bed, it helps you sleep at night. Just gives you that feeling of calmness and relaxation to get into a good deep sleep. And
mm,
I'm looking forward to trying the sound bathing to go with it. I think that's a really lovely extra thing to do in my daily routine. Um, and in conjunction with drinking enough water, mineral water, all sorts of other good things. It's never really one thing that does the job. We're a whole package,
mhm,
and we need to address all of the senses, smell, sight, sound, hearing,
mhm,
kinesthetics. We need everything working together, and then we click back into that, you know, tuned space.
mm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not just usually just one thing. It's a combination of things, movement, supplements, breath work, sound healing. What are the main healing benefits or health benefits of using a product like yours for magnesium
Well,
supplement?
we mentioned before the benefits to skin health.
Yeah.
Your electrical nervous system has better conductivity. It goes straight to the heart because the heart uses a lot of magnesium to maintain good sound, a good heart rhythm. Because it's all about the flow of electrons and the rhythm in the body, the biorhythms. That that's an electrical system. The mitochondria have to have magnesium to make ATP, electrical energy. Everything depends on this master mineral. It's the one we lose under stress because we're churning through it a lot during stress. And so the more people realize that they can self-help, they can do a lot of things and avoid a downward spiral into disease, the better. So we're here to educate people and show people that, there are really good alternatives without chemicals to having a better life. And it doesn't necessarily need to be more expensive. It's just different. So instead of your tablets and powders and your other body care creams, just switch to one product that does everything, even
Mhm,
underarm deodorant. You could just
mhm.
put it on for everything and know that you're feeding your body with good nutrition.
Right.
Yeah.
That,
So
that's
I
smart.
can send you some information if you like,
Sure.
for our website. Before we finish, I just would like you to let people know where they can find you, your website, YouTube channel you mentioned to get a little sample of what you do.
Sure. Yeah. On Instagram, follow me at SoundQuest. On YouTube, you can follow me at SoundQuest Academy. And if you're interested, I have courses. One's an intro to sound healing if you're just curious about it and you want to learn how it all works. This is going to cover everything from the science, the theory, instrument tutorials, how to play, how to perform a sound bath effectively. That's my intro to sound healing course. And then I have a program for sound healers that want to take it to the next level and want to actually do this for a living or even as a part-time business. I have a course called the Sound Healer Blueprint. And I also have a year-long mentorship program. It's called the Sound Healer Mastermind Program. And you can find all of this at soundquestacademy.com.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun, and everyone will need more fun in their life, I think. That's
Absolutely.
it's so good and so healthy to escape from the news media and all the problems. We need to
Hmm.
relax, recharge, and recover. So that's our little slogan for electromagnesium. Relax, recharge, and recover. So you
Yes,
can come back
that can be part
stronger.
of your health routine is just don't watch the news.
Yes. That's like don't take junk food into your body,
Yeah,
chemicals, heavy
exactly.
metals. Be more mindful of
Mhm.
what goes in. What goes in, does it's either good or
Garbage in,
bad.
garbage out.
Yeah, you want to be choosy and have be very careful about what goes into your inner body, inner realm, because it totally affects you straight away,
It does.
including the sound.
Yeah, so you want to put yourself around good vibes as much as you can.
I love that. We'll finish on that. Good vibes on all levels. Thank you
Good vibes.
so much for this wonderful interview.
Okay, Sandy, nice to meet you, and thanks for having me on.
Bye bye. I hope you liked this conversation and will share it with others. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you want to listen to other Body Charge conversations, click like, subscribe, the bell icon, and click all notifications. Subscribe to our newsletter to get updates on blogs, podcasts, videos, and magnesium special offers at electromagnesium.com.au. Relax, recharge, and recover.